this computer. All right, we're going.
Cool. Hey guys, welcome to another video with Nuke and Matrix Real Talk. Real
Yes, sir.
Talk. So, how was your trading day, Nuke?
Oh my God, today was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good day today. I'm not even gonna pretend I didn't. It was a fun day. It wasn't my most profitable day, but it was fairly easy. The only downside was it was a lot of scalping, which isn't something I normally do much of.
Okay. Okay.
You gotta adapt and overcome, brother.
Well, here's the thing with scalping, though. I mean, there's always gonna be a place for scalping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scalping, ideally, it's a strategy. But the thing that Trick has taught me personally is that we don't try to scalp all the time. You know what I mean? There is a time and place for it. For example, for the past few days, I mean, this whole week, the market has been it hasn't been really trending one direction. You know what I mean? It's crossed over the high and lows 3-4 times a day, right? It's just chop city. You know what I mean? So that's the thing with scalping. So on like market conditions like these, I like scalping not in a sense of scalping for like 10-20 cents, but it really depends on the stock, but in a sense of scalping like 50 cents, I'd say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But so you did some scalping today?
I did. I can't even remember. I know, good Lord. I know this is going to sound horrible. I don't even remember what tickers I played. I know I scalped Facebook, I think.
Okay, I like that ticker today. Today Facebook was fantastic. I actually took a trade on it. Is my screen sharing right now?
Yeah, it sure is, man.
Oh, perfect,
And
perfect.
it just went blank, but okay. Yeah, it's working.
Cool.
Oh, Square. That's it. Square. It was on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't get it out there. I traded Square today.
Yeah.
I traded, looks like Nvidia today.
Okay.
So sorry, my buddy Jeremy 530 came over, and I hadn't got to see him in probably 2.5, 3 months.
Oh,
And
cool. So he's still at your place right now? We're just chit chatting. Does he
yeah,
want to
he
come
came.
on?
He came over for about 2 hours. He's not here now.
Oh, okay. Does he trade too?
He does. He does. We worked together in the Air Force before I retired. So
Oh, wicked. Fantastic. That's wicked. So you traded Facebook today. What kind of trades did you take? I mean, you want to show me, or did you already did the
I
recap?
already erased everything, and I forgot that's why, because I'm sitting here looking like, oh my God, I can't find anything I took, and then it hit me that while him and I were talking, we went and deleted a bunch of the charts.
Oh, okay. Well, I can talk to you about my Facebook trade today. All
Absolutely,
right.
go for it, because
Um.
you had a pretty good day today too.
Oh yeah, I had a fantastic day. Facebook. Here is the chart. Okay.
Okay,
So basically, I took one trade on Facebook today. Right. Last night, my plan was for Facebook to come up to this 145 area and reject because it's a psychological whole number. You can see it on my daily chart right here, right? As you scroll through, and there's massive volume here on December 19th. The top wick of this red candle is 145.
okay,
Okay. So I see it as a key resistance point, right? And Facebook has been running up for days now. Okay. As the past prior few days where it kind of consolidated up here at the 144-ish area, it topped out. It just doesn't seem like it has the nuts to break through. So my thesis was to short it at 145. I'm going to be looking for a double top. Lo and behold, I waited all day. I literally waited all day. 12:30. Boom, boom, boom. 145. Zoom in a little bit.
yep. And your
Right
second
here.
double top was a lower high.
Yeah. So as it came to 145 right here on this candle, this is a stuff candle. You see that with all the
Right.
massive volume?
Mm-hmm.
When I saw this, I shorted this. And because I saw the volume coming in, I'm thinking, okay, volume exhaustion. Like I'm looking at the move from prior, the way it came up so fast, I'm thinking 145 hit, massive volume coming in, volume exhaustion, the buyers are done. So I hit it, right? And then boom, I get stopped out. I'm like, oh, boo. Once I get stopped out, I'm like, okay. Like I waited for this green candle to finish and see what happened the next candle. And the next candle started ripping up. So I stopped out here and took a small loss. And then I watched it come right back down, man. That was sour. So I watched it come right back down. I'm like, oh man, I just got stopped out for nothing. I set my stop too tight and it was grinding right here. So I'm thinking, okay, my second chance would be a double top. And then it came back up, and sure enough, we have a double top and a lower high right here. Okay. So I because I lost on this trade, I was playing very cautious. So I waited again and then it finally snapped. Let me bring out my tickets here real quick. And I'll tell you the exact time I got in. Very interesting here. Short sell 1240. Yeah. So this candle right here. This is where I shorted it. Okay. And I should have shorted it right here, man. Like I should have. But then, or I could have shorted it at this doji candle right here. But I took it right here at the snap, right? I saw it base through, and I was still scared. I was still scared, man, because it was basing. It basically came down and reclaimed, right? You see this level, this 80s level? It
Right.
came down and reclaimed. So I was afraid of this support level, but I took it anyways because I'm thinking it's a double top, man. If I lost, then so be it. And by this time, I really set my risk up high. Okay. So eventually it snaps and it just came down. It just came down. Like,
Yeah,
look
that's
at this.
beautiful,
This
man.
is
Like
perfect
it's a
setup.
great thesis, and I can totally see where, like the first time you tried shorting this, you just were a little soon on pulling the trigger, but it was a good thought process. I don't, I would bet dollars to pesos that in your mind, when it barely broke the 145, it
Yeah.
came up like a couple of cents over and it started pulling back. I think because it didn't make that strong break through the 145 and hold the 145, that's
Yeah.
probably what suckered you into taking the trade sooner than you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, look at the volume too. The
Yeah.
volume matches, man. Like the
Oh,
volume match.
totally. They that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about. Like earlier I was discussing one of the things was different things we've noticed, right? And
Yeah.
this past week we've seen a whole lot where volume action and price action, everything looks like it's ready to drop. And for some unknown reason that we can't see, but I'm sure it's obvious to somebody who knows what's going on, these prices are getting held up at areas where the bottom should be falling out. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
it does fall, but our timing isn't in sync with it.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, the spy, choppy, 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 right? I've been I called the rug pull since I've been asking for it to pull since Monday, right? And I was anticipating for it to happen on today, basically, right? Um, the whole chat room was anticipating it, basically, but it just never came. Hello, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
here.
perfect. Yeah. So there was something you wanted to talk about tonight's talk. I mean, I had another subject that I wanted to talk about, but you go first, my friend. You
Well,
go.
the stuff I wanted to cover is how has the year started? Like so far for me, we've had some days that are just an outright chop fest, and then we've had some days that were fairly clear on how to trade it. The
Oh,
action just hasn't been as much as the ATR you would expect to see. That's what I've been noticing. Like it's one or the other. It's either really clear and easy to call, or it's a total chop fest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
but,
if you scroll back and take a look at it, I mean, this is a SPY right here,
mhm.
right? When did we start the week off here? On the 4th? No, on the 7th. On the 7th. Yeah.
7th.
This action, that's real choppy. It
Yeah.
it just doesn't know what it wants to do, right?
Well,
So, for
when you look at
example,
this, I think one of the things that's hurting us right now, you see how we're sandwiched between the 50 and the 200.
yeah.
Uh, it's just
Um,
brutal, man. That's a bad place to be caught.
50 and 200. So
Let's see.
here's the
Let me double.
200, here's the 50. You mean sandwich between the 9 and the 50?
Okay, yours is the
Yeah.
9 and the 50. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the 9 and the 50. That's my 200. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a bad spot, man. I mean, it's going to chop around here for a few more days.
Yep. I mean,
It's tightening up. It's tightening up. But eventually it's gonna
it's got to go somewhere. It's going to have to break. And like on my chart, um,
let
let
me
me
kick
see
it
if I
back to
can
you.
well, I'm going to have to shrink it.
Uh Kick it back to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I just stopped share.
Yeah, yeah. I just got to, everything's so, there we go. All right. Main thinker swim. So this is what it looks like on my end, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got my 9, my 20, and then here I've got my 50 and my 200.
Yeah.
So these two are dead on balls squeezed together. So you have a lot of pressure and resistance here for support. Well, pressure and resistance, right? It's just a very strong area right here. But the problem is your 50 and your 200 still have a good bit of space up above it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got to remember, the way you would look at this is if you back up a few days, right, or a week or two, to right there before Christmas when the bottom was falling out of everything, you have the perfect short scenario where you have your 200 over your 50, over your 20, over your 9. And here, that 9's come back up and it's just running into the 20. But the problem is, if you look at the spacing between the 20 and the 50 and the 50 and the 200, is those three are evenly spaced. The only thing that doesn't match is this 9 to 20,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this thing is, like you see it curling on the bottom when we're starting to make a round up.
Yeah.
That's what I see occurring on the top here. And when you look at the Bollinger Band, if you get rid of this little hump here where we had those first couple of days of recovery, this Bollinger Band is just starting to provide this gentle rollover.
Yeah.
And if you look at the curl, it curled, it came up, but this part here, you don't really have a sharp incline.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to plateau and round over. So I think
Yeah.
you're right about the rug pull. It's just, I think if we were to be able to see the behind the scenes approach, the government controlling bodies that the SEC and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they've got to have their dirty little hands in the cookie jar because nobody wants to see a crash like 08, 09 again. We know
Yeah,
it's
but I think
there.
it can
We
happen.
know we don't have the support to be this inflated.
Mm-hmm.
It's bound to happen. But legislature in all its glory is going to do everything they can to keep the inevitable from being so obvious. So I think what we're going to see is the fall is going to be a slow ratchet.
Interesting. I think what's holding it up as well. I mean, I think there's a lot of fear going on right now because the market is coming up into the 50 SMA, right? So basically, as we near that 50, people are less inclined to buy, right? They don't want to buy it until it actually makes a move when it reaches there, or either up or down, right? They don't want to make a decision. Hence, we get this choppiness. And I think once the trade deals are set,
Yeah, well,
once
there's so
that
much
comes
uncertainty
into view.
between national legislation, what the big banks are doing. The banks themselves have been going hey wacky lately.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
That's
big
it.
money doesn't want to invest. You've had Amazon's had a huge upset with their CEO getting divorced. You know,
Mhm.
that's going to go into the shitter. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of big money at play that just they're not ready to put their cards on the table and lay their chips down. They're waiting to see what the political players are going to do. And then once the political players finish their move, then you're going to see big money start making their move. And then once the whales start, you know, like choosing which way the whales are going to go, that's when us bottom feeders are going to start picking off the crumbs. But right now, nobody wants to get between those whales if they're not going in the same direction.
You know what I can't wait for? Earning seasons, right? 2019, we have earning seasons coming up next week. It actually already started,
Yeah.
right? But we got Netflix coming up on Thursday. We got all the big companies coming up. And personally, I don't know about you. I love earning season. It's like the bread and butter of all traders, in my opinion. It comes 4 times a year, right?
And I
So
think it's one of those ones you have to have a knack for trading it.
yeah, we make the most money during earning seasons at TrickTrades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love it. And with all this uncertainty in the market right now, I think with the earnings season coming up, that will help because when earnings comes into a company, that stock in itself does not trade according to the SPY,
Right.
right? It's a separate entity. So
It's a
all you need to
reaction,
do,
emotion.
yeah, exactly. So all you need to do is actually understand the catalyst behind that earnings and the reaction behind that earnings report, and you're set. You don't have to care about what the market does,
Yeah.
right? And that's why I love earnings. Now, I can tell you this: when I first started trading, I started trading penny stocks and the garbage junk stocks. Right, their earning seasons, it doesn't do anything
Well,
to
there's no
me.
consistency to it. They don't
Yeah,
have enough establishment to really make a move. They're still trying to become a company.
yeah. So those companies' earning season does not matter. When earning season come, the bread and butter comes from real, legit S&P 500 companies, right?
Yeah. And you
And
know, speaking about that right now, right? Let's just take a
yeah,
the global dynamic on what's a S&P 500 company is changing. You know, the status quo for the last 5 years or so suddenly is starting to shift on its head. Even
mm-hmm,
Amazon has its issues now, you know?
mm-hmm,
And Amazon run into a lot of issues where it comes to like federal regulations. The FFA wouldn't let them get their drone program going. So they put a lot of money into some programs that are just getting held up in legislation. Um, and you're, you know, look at what we had, what was it, 2 days ago? All of the clothing retailers suddenly had this giant gap down like across
oh
the
yeah,
board.
oh yeah, I was looking at that too. Lulu, AEO, right? Those are a couple of the retail the wearables that I follow. Lulu and AEO, right? So Abercrombie and Finch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
American Eagle and Target had it. What was it? Bed Bath and Body Works, Kohl's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Mostly because Macy's came out with a bad earnings guidance a couple of days ago, eh?
yeah.
So that led to it.
But
But
even look at Sears. Sears is filing bankruptcy. I mean, so many of these places, man. It's just we've seen that one coming for the past 5 years, but it's just it's that shift. You know, like it takes these things are like a you know companies are like babies. They're born and then you nurture them and they grow and they become kids and then they become teenagers and they get batshit crazy out of control. And I think that's where Elon Musk is right now with fucking Tesla. Is just he's
yeah.
got a fucking teenager he can't fucking wrangle and his dad's a crack addict, but he's a lovable drug addict. You know, like I used to couldn't stand Elon, and now it's like I get a kick out of the dude because he's so raw. But at the same time, you know, like he's throwing the finger to the SEC and doing what he wants.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's capitalism at its root, right? Like, fuck you, catch me if you can.
Correct.
But you know, like you're seeing things that we haven't seen in a long time in this market. You know, and I think
Mhm.
it's just that growth and evolution. I think we got some brave and exciting things to see this year.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess my real point about earnings, though, I mean, a lot of newer traders who are starting to learn how to trade,
Mhm.
I personally think they should really take advantage of the earnings season. Okay. Not having the capital to trade these regular name stocks is seriously not an excuse. I mean, if you have the proper broker and the margin and the buying power to do so, then you can trade these stocks. And this is why I bring it up, because once again, I want to talk about the TFS funded accounts, right? I mean, all the time, all the time. When people say they don't have the capital to get over the PTT, when they see our recap saying that the stocks that we trade are too expensive, that's horseshit. That's horseshit. I mean, you and I basically gave people the solution right there, right?
Yeah.
So if
I think
you,
what it is, a lot of people are scared to try it because it does sound like a scam, right? Like that's what took me a couple of months to jump in when I first got like introduced to it. You and Connor introduced me, and I'm like, okay, sounds fishy. But then as I seen y'all using it, I was like, you know what? I'm a grown ass man with grown ass problems. $500, fuck you, let me try it. And
yeah,
it worked, and I've seen so many people that have used it and actually, so it blows my mind when people are like, well, I didn't get paid and I didn't get this and I didn't get that. It, I haven't seen it, like
no,
no
I've
broke
never heard of anybody
without,
not get paid yet. I've
yeah,
used it for over a year and a half.
it,
Everybody's got paid.
yeah.
If
And
they make a withdrawal, if they make money, you get paid.
yeah, like you can't fault them for having rules. Like they do certain things to protect their capital. They do certain things to make their bookkeeping simple. They want you to turn in your request slip in a certain time frame. They're going to pay you once a month. So you request your money between the 1st and the 10th. You get your payout on the 15th, one
Mhm.
day. Now you can make multiple requests, but you're going to get one payout.
Yeah.
I don't see where people are like, oh, it's a scam, it's this. Okay, CFDs trading isn't allowed in America, but America does more options trading than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
What do you do when you don't have options? You trade contracts. An option and a contract are super similar. It's just CFDs don't have all of the extra complication, time decay, and all of your Greeks.
Strike
It's
price. Yeah.
it's like everything else in America, right? When something's not allowed, you create something 100 times more complex, and people are so fucking just tired of trying to understand it. They're like, just let it go, just let it go. It's okay.
At TrickTrades, we recommend the funded accounts, right? A few $100, you'll get an account. You'll have enough buying power to trade these proper companies. Take advantage of the earnings season.
So,
And during earnings seasons, when I post my watch list, I tell you my plan. I literally teach you how to trade earnings. Well, I wouldn't say teach you. I would show you how I would trade earnings. And
when you
people
do,
who've watched my watch list, they know it hits on earnings.
that's what I was going to say. When you put out your watch list, anybody that's watched it, not only do you put a thesis out, like here's what I'm watching, here's why I'm watching it, and here's the plan. When it does XYZ, I'm going to do ABC.
Yeah.
Here's my triggers for getting in if it meets this criteria.
Yeah. I'm telling
Like
you.
like what you were saying with TradeNet, right?
Mm.
You don't have to put big size in terms of lots of numbers of shares on these trades.
No.
Keep your risk small, keep your profits bigger.
No. You don't need big size at all. I mean, there's a moderator in our chat room. His name is Calvo. Today, I'm watching his trades. He posted his P&L today. And he doesn't even use big size, right? He traded Facebook and Apple. And the guy killed it at 400 something dollars.
Yeah.
And he used a size less than 500 shares, way less. I bet you he only used like 200-300 shares, and he just ride that move.
And that was just his equities trading. We didn't see
Yeah.
what he made off of options today.
Oh, no. Did he kill it on options too? He probably did, eh?
Well,
Sicko.
think about it. He does, 70% of what he trades is options.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So like if we seen him make 500, because my math was closer to 500 on what he made, that's just on equities, and that's only like 20-30% of what he trades.
Yeah. So everybody in TrickTrades badass though.
Yeah,
Everybody.
you know, that's one thing I can say, man. Like consistently across the board at TrickTrades, members that have been there for more than a month or two, they're ready to make money, and they're not ready to get rich overnight. You don't see these guys going in with stupid shares and only playing a candle or two. Every last one of them, you know, if they say, oh man, you know, I'm looking at this ticker, and you go, oh, well, what do you see? They don't just tell you like, oh, dude, this is awesome. It's here's my support, here's my resistance, here's what
my thesis.
Yeah, here's my thesis.
Your thesis too.
And if it does X, Y, Z, I'm going to do A, B, C.
A, B, C. Exactly.
You don't get that bullshit. Oh man, are you in with me? Are we doing it? Who's with me? Have we done it yet?
Yeah.
Fuck. Like you don't need, if you really want to trade this, man, you don't need me trading it with you to make money.
You're right.
Like, I think one of the things that I find funniest of all is like when I take a trade and I haven't announced it to the room, because I don't want to sucker any newer traders, right?
Oh yeah.
And like somebody brings it up like, oh man, did anybody get any action on this? And you get like 5 or 6 guys that took the exact same trade, like within pennies of each other. And the thesis, it's so correlated, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we all take the same trades without even having an alert. You know what I mean? Without even having an alert. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. People who've been in there for a few months are getting it. Light bulbs are flashing on a nightly basis. Last night, I was talking to one of our newer members, Nazir, and last.
Oh man,
I was
he has
with
some
him
great
on the
days.
phone. He's a learner, man. I mean, I was talking to him at 2 a.m. and he learns fast. People at TrickTrades are willing to help. If you come with a question to any moderators, I'm not a moderator there, but I like helping people, right? I mean, if you come to me as well, I will do as much as I can to answer your question. And Nuke is a moderator, so if you're in there with us, you will turn your trading around. That's my thing.
Well, look how much of the conversations just today alone, right, was not. There was a lot of help me conversation going on, but a tiny portion of it was, what is support and resistance? What is a trend line? Where's a good entry point? None of that was the stuff that was coming up. What came up was, I have a hard time managing this aspect about me. I get into a trade, but I have trouble staying in a trade. I want to take this trade, but I'm so excited to take it, I took it early. Or I knew it was coming, but I can't push the button. All of that is psychological, man. And that's what I really love about this group, man. It's like most of these guys already have their shit together and are competent traders, but what they're working on is tuning their personality to that trader mindset rather than what was it today? Because dude, after you spit it out, I had like 6 people ask me what the fuck you called it. It was psychologically driven, technically psychologically focused, technologically driven, or
something like that. It's Trick's copyright line, right?
I don't know. Like I can't get the wording, but it's like
psychologically based, technically driven.
Okay.
It's something based, something driven. It's psychological and technical. I don't know which one he starts with first, but it's his line. It's his copyright line. And
but it was so true, man.
Yeah. This is what TrickTrades is based on. This is his brand. This is what he teaches, and this is what we learn.
And the poor guy, I felt bad for him, the one that lost all that money over the past week, right? And everybody, like the answer was so unanimous. You know, it's like, dude, pump the brakes. Stop trading your money. You're just throwing it away. All you're doing is giving it to a more experienced trader. don't do it. Just hold off till you get a better grasp of what you're doing.
Yeah, everybody was on him trying to help him, but he wasn't really willing to actually open his ears and listen. You know what I mean? So,
Well, and I think a lot of us get that, like we're so emotionally caught up in what went wrong. You can see it. People can be telling you, but the emotion is so strong. When you tie money to a feeling, it's hard to come out of that rabbit hole, man. That was one of the discussions me and Jeremy 530 had today, was him and I both have had and we've got a similar background coming from the military. We had similar career fields in our old career, and then the last career we had was the same. And so we think and see things a lot alike, right? And sure enough, both of us, like my biggest problem as well as his was we get sucked down a rabbit hole damn near to a month and a half or 3 months. One of those damn near within like a 3 to 5 day period. I get pulled into a rabbit hole where my brain doesn't see that my ass is making bad choices.
oh yeah.
And I take my biggest losses in a single day. And it's psychological. It's like I just can't see what I'm doing. It's the frog in a pot and the water slowly being turned up to a boil.
It has nothing to do with your trading methodology or your platform or your charting techniques or anything like that. It's all in here, man.
Yeah.
And here is what we do.
And that's where having that team helps, because, what's funny is like those of us that have traded around each other for a longer period of time now, right? How often is it when somebody even just says like, hey, I'm seeing this or this is what I'm thinking about doing. Here's my thesis. And we hear it and we're like, the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like something, we message each other like, hey, man, you want to look at that again? Here's my chart. And that should be that mental cue. Like the dudes that know how you trade are looking at that going, he's having a bad day. We need to throw that line out there and go, look, buddy, you should take the day off.
Yeah. That's what we do too. We don't just show people how we trade the TrickTrades way. We also protect them from themselves, right? I think that's the most important part to any kind of trading educational service, right? I mean, people fall into the trap of seeing these big flashy P&Ls. How do you think they get that? Because they're hammering in size and side and side. Think about it this way. What happens if you're on the other side of the trade? And when you're taking all that size, you're going to fucked.
Yeah. Easy come, easy go. And if you got the big risks out there to make a big reward, it took big risks. So what happens when you're wrong?
Yeah.
I did get my experience, my first options trade today. And,
you did?
Well, like, dude, I understand the concept behind options.
Yeah.
And the reason I always tell people, like when they ask me, hey, what about this? What about that? When it comes to options, I just didn't have the mental capacity, the faculties to put the button mashing with the concepts. And Jeremy came over, and part of that Thinkorswim is just a complicated program, right? And so he's like, push this, push that, sell here, buy this, do this, but not this. Okay, cool. Now I got it. So I'm going to start opening up my options trading here real soon.
The one thing with options trading, I mean, Trick has a DVD out just on options. And I have that DVD. I watched it a couple of times. It's, oh my God. Mind blown.
Isn't it?
Mind blown. Simple options strategy that makes people freaking money.
I haven't talked to a single person that's purchased that CD that's regretted it. Not one person have I heard negative.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, I mean, in this video, at the end of the video, we'll put all the links in the video below, in the video description, links into TFS accounts. Okay, we got discounts for that. Take advantage of the earning seasons coming up next week. All right. My watch list, I will be putting out plans on how I trade earnings. People who follow that will learn how I personally trade earnings, right? And I learned from the best. I learned from Trick, right? TrickTrades ways. From there, take advantage of earnings, and we will have the links for the options DVD as well, right? We will have the links for joining TrickTrades as a member. And once you get in there, Nuke and I will personally greet you, man. Right? We'll
Just say
talk
hello.
to you.
We're some of the most approachable traders I've ever met. You know?
Definitely. We will talk to you. Just say hi once you come in, and you are already a part of a bigger family and a community. That's what I want to say. Okay.
Well, and if you
Anything
have a
to add?
thesis too, right? As you're a newer trader, yeah, so often I see people swapping their strategies back and forth because they just don't know what to trust. And we've got one of our members. She's a female. Yeah, she is a female. But I think she's a good trader, and I think she's got her plan down. God bless her. She's our Dutch oven. But
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
yeah, like I don't see her trading being as off as she thinks it is. I think the bigger problem is that she just doesn't have the confidence in her own abilities.
Yeah.
So she's either getting out too early or waiting too late to pull the trigger. But like everything I see her call, I haven't seen her off on too many trades at all. The big thing I see is just that lack of genuine confidence to just commit, or even when you could, like, and this is one of the things I was telling her is commit with a smaller size.
Yeah.
But make that commitment and stay in it. And if it costs you less to be wrong, right, it allows you more room to give it time to play. Or also the other side is true. If you still cut your losses where it's appropriate, those losses are smaller. And what are you giving up? A little bit of profit because you didn't put in as many shares? But that's capital that is saved. Salvaging your trading capital is like, it's like when people go out drinking and driving and they wreck their cars. And then they're like, well, I can't go to work because I don't have a car.
No, you can't go to work because you did something stupid, right?
Exactly, man. Like if you only have one vehicle, what's your plan in case that vehicle gets wrecked? If you only have one account, what's your plan if you wreck that account? Like before you see me moving up account size, there's plenty of money behind it to replace it with. I don't know, man. I get, and touching on that real quick when it comes to the TradeNet, right? Probably the biggest reason I use TradeNet, it's from the businesses that I ran before I got into day trading. One of the best advices I was ever given was, if you ever have the opportunity, if the opportunity is there in your business, never put your own money on the line for business purposes. That's your money, hang on to it. If you can spend someone else's, spend their money, not yours.
Always.
But like when you tell people that, they're like, no, it's wrong. You shouldn't do that. It's stupid. You'll lose your money. I look at it as like a insurance policy. That little bit of money I spend on a TradeNet account is protecting my personal capital. I can put a little bit of my money on the line and then pay a small fee and percentages to TradeNet for the opportunity to trade with their money, not mine.
Yeah. That's absolutely spot on.
I mean, I'm so thankful y'all introduced me to that, and God.
Dude, you're not just the only one, man. Anybody who used it loved it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't good, I wouldn't recommend it. Trick wouldn't recommend it.
I think one of the things, like we're dancing around the subject, but it's kind of the only people I've ever met that have a negative opinion of it are the ones that came in, did stupid shit, took too big of a share size, and then they badmouthed it.
Yeah. They lost their accounts, and then now they're pissed, and then they're angry, and they have to blame someone.
Yeah. And what are they losing? The intro accounts. My God, you have a $700 limit. Like literally you have to set your risk levels at like $10 on a trade, or else, like a handful of screw ups and there goes your account.
Mhm.
So in the trading world, $700 being lost is minuscule. Like it's not even the skin on the onion. Yeah. But they bitch about it like they just lost $10,000 or more,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to say that these numbers have no value, right? But it's like the same people that are bitching that, oh, this is a fraud, it's this, those are the same people that are complaining and only put up $500.
Yeah.
But they do $10,000 worth of complaining. Like they're not
Absolutely.
trading 10,000 of their own money. They traded 500 of theirs. They lost 700 of someone else's, but yet they bitch like it was their life savings. And for some people, that 500 might be their life savings.
You're right. But
But I
it's
bet those people don't
part-time
throw that
job.
500 the same way the people that are bitching about it do.
Yeah. It's a part-time job, man. It's like a 1 week's pay at a regular job or a part-time job for a month.
Yeah.
It's like a summer's job. Anybody can afford it. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you think about it. Right?
Well, they call it intro for a reason. When you step up to the student, it's a huge gap in price.
Mhm.
But it's also their entry level into something serious. It's enough money to do something with. It's enough of a loss limit to have a little wiggle room to get your feet underneath you.
Mhm.
I mean, hell, even their intern package, which they don't advertise, is still a fair deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have 25,000 in an account to get over the PDT rule in any stateside trading opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Their
Correct.
intern account is 25K. I just don't get it, man. Like, people pass on opportunity before they ever even see what it's actually about.
Yeah. Got to look at the big picture, right?
Yeah. I mean, like if you plan to do this for a career, right? Do you actually think you're going to get into this without any expenditure on your part? First of all, you got to have education. Well, first you need equipment, you need education, and then you need something to trade with. That's three items that they're not going to just fall from the heavens. You're not going to come over to my house and borrow my computer. You're not going to borrow my account. Like there's a certain entry level to pay to play.
Criteria. Yeah.
Yeah, criteria. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like this world we live in where everybody gets a trophy, right? And I'm not saying people should be excluded from trading. I'm glad for programs like Robinhood and Acorn and things like that. They give everybody the opportunity to invest, because investing is a life-changing concept and shift of paradigms between working for a living and letting money work for you.
Correct.
But the other side of that coin is, the guys that they want to trade off of a phone because they don't think they're not going to buy a laptop or a PC to trade off of. Okay, I got it. If you just want to see the mechanics of it. But if you actually want to trade, no serious trader is going to try and make a living off of a freaking cell phone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's traders out there that make money doing it, but they know what the hell they're doing. Their main stuff is not done off of the phone. The phone is just the means of executing it while you're sitting at Taco Bell. Even the internet connection, something as simple as that, if how can you expect to make thousands and thousands of dollars when you're going to bitch that your $39.99 internet isn't good enough? Well, freaking upgrade. And if it's not enough, I did the math today with Jeremy, right? Full bandwidth for moving all the information you can shove through Thinkorswim at one time is like 4 megabytes per second. I know guys that are on a 15 megabytes per second connection that are trading just fine. Stop making excuses. If your equipment is shitty, you got two choices. Stop trading until the equipment upgrades. Spend some money and upgrade the equipment now.
Absolutely.
I don't know. but you got to put money into it. It ain't going to just fall from
Oh,
the
yeah.
sky and jump in your lap. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
technique, right? Dude, we've been trading alongside each other for over a year. Over a year.
Almost 2 years, man.
Holy fuck, it's been that
Almost.
long?
I know. Almost.
God.
Almost 2 years.
Makes you feel old.
Almost. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I want to say in this video.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to fill in?
Well, if you got questions about your computer or how much of a rig you need, God, that's one of the most often asked questions I get. If the stuff we have written down for you doesn't help you enough, you reach out to us and we'll tell you. Like one of the guys that hit me up yesterday has, and this, I know you're trying to wrap this up, but he bought a computer at the latter part of last year. It was a little bit before Black Friday. So he got Black Friday pricing on it. And I'm not going to put his name out here, but it's a 2018, 2019 year model. And it's an Intel rig. It was a Core i5. And they sold him a Core i5. He paid way more, damn near double, what I paid for this rig that I hand built. And here's the spec sheet, like where we wrote everything down. And it had 8 gigs of RAM in it, which is enough to be competitive. Yeah. 16 would be nicer, but okay, you can get by with 8. But where they stuffed him at was the advertised speed on his rig was 3.4 gigahertz.
Yeah.
That's what was on the outside of the box. But that 3.4 gigahertz was the boosted core clock for a single core. The moment you start running more than one program, you're not going to get that boost speed. His non-boosted speed on that particular Core i5 is 1.6 gigahertz. That's less than half the speed my 10-year-old former computer is running. Half the speed that my 10-year-old just got retired and replaced computer. And he I think brand new, like less than 5-6 months ago.
I think it's interesting. I mean, this topic of equipment, we can do a whole video on it. I mean, it's very interesting. You want to know what's funny though? I'm trading on a laptop with 8 gigs, and I am using the i5 Core 2. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we will actually do another video about equipment for sure. Next week, for sure.
Because you amaze me at what you do with so little, right? Like I love my big 34-inch screens. I got the information all around me.
Yeah.
I love my fast processor. Mm-hmm. I love my gigabyte internet. Dude, I remember when you were like, hang on, guys, I got to go change out my cord. And you're like, we hear the cord getting drugged through the house. Oh, man, that was so funny when you were that. I think it was like 2 places ago where you lived and you're like dragging the cord through the house.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And you remember that fiasco when I had like a few days, well, longer than a few days, but I had that router problem. We upgraded to the 1 gigabyte internet, and then we kept having some kind of frequency conflict, and we were getting less bandwidth than when we was on the 200 megabyte program.
Yeah.
It's just, I think a lot of people, they have the best intentions, but they really never dig down to see what's slowing down their systems or what like their actual implications has, right? The same guy that came to me and he literally is running 1 chart at a time. Now he's got a couple other that he pulls up, but like he can't pull up the Spy X or one of those because it locks up the computer for like 6 minutes. And when he told me this, I'm like, something ain't right, right? So I get to looking, and he's got on every chart, even the stuff that he's not looking at that's in the background, he's running 8 different EMAs. Well, he's got 4 EMAs, 4 SMAs, which 2 years ago I had that problem, like I wanted to see everything. So but he's got it. So that's 8 different algorithms plus the VWAP. And he's showing all of the plots, not just the center plot on the VWAP, but the center, the middle, the top. And he's got these on charts that he ain't even looking at. and his computer is just crawling. So like we go through and we talk to him, and I'm like, well, show me this. What do you do with this? Well, when I can get it to load up, I take a look at this. What do you do the rest of the time? Oh, it's just in the background. It's sucking down your resources, dude. Like when I looked at the speed of his processor, I'm like, you need to go back to 1 or 2 charts and just load them in when you need it.
Yeah.
It's because you got to learn to work with the equipment.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, man. And how to set I did that video, 10 separate videos on how to set your thinkorswim. And I'll be damned if every day since I put those videos out, somebody will watch 2 or 3 of the videos and then send me like 6 questions. And I'm like, did you watch the other 7 videos? No, man. Why? Because the answer to your other 6 questions is in one of the other 6 videos.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about, I mean, for those who are watching this right now, there is going to be a description link to Nuke's channel. He made basically a whole playlist on how to optimize your thinkorswim in like a video series, right? He took a whole night, a few nights of work, made that for you guys. So check that out, log into his channel, subscribe, right? Share, make sure you do that. And it's getting late, man.
I know you want to get out of here and I want to sit here and
so
I can't.
We're just going to cut it off. Well, we're just going to cut it off for now, and we'll continue this next week. Let's see if we can do this once a week. I mean, I love chatting with you, always.
Let us know what y'all think, too, right? Yeah. What parts of these videos we're doing are you getting something out of? Because at the end of the day, it's all about extracting value.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you don't like? What helps you as a person? Like, we can teach you any kind of fundamentals, but if you can't apply the shit, what does it matter? And we all need help in a different way, right, Johnny? Like, I remember the first time you slapped me with a wet trout, and it's like, I think, like, what I was having a problem with and where you saw it, you're like, oh, my God, he doesn't even see this? And, like, from my side, no, I didn't see it because I was coming from a totally different background and never had that problem before. It's just, like, sometimes I think as a trader, especially when you're getting going, you're so wrapped up because it's so complex that a lot of times you don't just stop and go, yeah, that tunnel vision. But that's what the older traders are there for, right? The biggest thing you can get from a mentor is that pat on the shoulder going, look, man, I've been there too. Chill the fuck out.
You're right. Absolutely. Okay. So it's been fun. I'll talk to you next week. Nuke, thanks for hosting me on this video. This video will be posted on my YouTube channel and probably on Nuke's YouTube channel as well.
Yep.
Okay.
I will get it crunched out and I will put it, I'm going to give you your very own read rights to my server and I'll send that to you on Discord.
All right.
Oh, very important right there. For those of you that want to get in touch with us, the easiest way to communicate is on Discord. And mine is going to be at Nuke Pound 5239. What's yours, Matrix?
Mine is all my contacts is in the video description link, man. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Everything's in there. You gotta check those video links. Everything's in there.
For the love of God, when you click on a YouTube video, look at the description. We put so much effort in and putting all of this shit there for you.
Yeah.
Just you got to look beyond the first click.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you.
Have a good night, man.